short response to a video that Skallagrim made about a week ago on making a safe sparring axe. The axe that I use for reenactment is this. It's basically just a chunk of steel that is wrapped around and welded and cut into an axe shape. But of course, for HEMA sparring, this won't do because in reenactment we barely go as heavy as some HEMA practitioners do. So this could be fairly dangerous to use because you'd either have to be going slower and pulling your blows a little bit, or you'd have to wear more padding, which really isn't much of an option for a lot of people. So at first I thought he could use the same design he used, casting a head out of silicone and just inserting a chunk of pipe to use as an eye to actually put a wooden handle into it. Or he could make a rubber one with rubber sheet in a similar way that you would to forging a tomahawk, where you basically make a bow tie shape and then form it around. He cut that out of rubber sheet and then glue it together and with contact cement, and that would work well. But then I realized that it would actually take away from part of what the axe is all about. It's not just a hitting weapon, because you can hook with it and you can do different binds on weapons where you're essentially catching their weapon and twisting the axe to disarm them, which you can't really do with a rubber head that's just going to flop all over the place. And if you reinforce it with something, in the case of the silicone one, if you hit somebody with that and that the objects you have inside to reinforce it shift, they could end up getting poked by something. So that's not that fun. But I thought, why sacrifice the use of the axe by changing it up a little bit, or changing the material it's made from to something that's more flexible, which takes away from what it's supposed to do. So if you make an axe with a similar shape to this, this one's made out of 8 gauge sheet metal, so it's actually a little bit thicker than it needs to be for the reenactment groups. But then you add a strip of rubber to the edge of the axe in a way that it folds around to create an arc and then sits on that axe edge that way, and attached with washers and Chicago screws so you can remove it as it gets damaged. And it basically creates this. Now, I didn't have any rubber. I had just a strip of leather that wasn't wide enough to do it the other way. So I just have this as an example. But what this does is creates kind of a dampener on the edge. And so as an impact comes in, it actually flattens as it goes and sort of spreads the impact out. It disperses that energy. Sort of like a bumper on the front of like a bumper car kind of thing. It disperses the energy and reflects it away a little bit. But it also acts as a dampener for this edge. And so if the edge is more rounded, when it impacts this, it won't damage anything. It won't do anything. It'll be padded by the thickness of the rubber. So that's kind of just my idea for that. And it shouldn't add too much weight, extra weight to the head, because it's only a strip of maybe 1/4 inch rubber, which is easily available on Amazon. So, and that's just my thoughts. Thanks for watching.
And go.